Did you know that according to the philosopher Hobbes, the state literally owns you?
Oh.
Well, he didn't use those exact words, but if we examine his theory, that's exactly what we find. So let's do it. Thomas Hobbes was an English philosopher who lived from 1588 to 1679. He is considered one of the founders of political philosophy, and his work has had a profound impact on the development of Western thought. His most famous work, Leviathan, published in 1651, outlines his theory of the social contract, which posits that individuals in a state of nature would choose to surrender some of their rights to a sovereign power in order to live in a more orderly society. Now, this is important. Hobbes believed that the state of nature was a chaotic and violent place where life was nasty, brutish, and short. In order to escape this state, individuals would enter into a social contract with one another, agreeing to abide by certain rules and laws in exchange for the protection of the sovereign. This is the basic idea of Hobbes's philosophy. But here's the thing. Hobbes argued that the sovereign power to which individuals are subject in the social contract is absolute. In other words, the state has the right to do whatever it wants. And that's where things get a little weird. Let's take a closer look at this idea of absolute sovereignty. According to Hobbes, the sovereign power in a society is the source of all legitimate authority. It is the ultimate arbiter of right and wrong, and its decisions are binding on all subjects. But why is this? Why does the state have the right to be so absolute? According to Hobbes, it's because the state represents the collective will of the people. When individuals enter into the social contract, they agree to abide by the laws and regulations of the state. And since the state is nothing more than the collective body of the people, it follows that the state's decisions are, in fact, the decisions of the people themselves. In other words, the state is the people, and the people are the state. Now, this might seem like a pretty radical idea, but it's actually quite common in political philosophy. In fact, it's a cornerstone of modern democracy. We, the people, elect leaders to represent us and make decisions on our behalf. And we agree to abide by the decisions that they make. But Hobbes took this idea to the next level. He argued that the state has the right to do whatever it wants, even if it means infringing on the rights of its citizens. For example, Hobbes argued that the state has the right to imprison people who criticize it, even if those criticisms are true. And that's because the state, as the ultimate arbiter of right and wrong, has the right to decide what is in the best interest of the people, even if that means doing things that we would normally consider to be unjust or tyrannical. So according to Hobbes, the state literally owns us. We are its property and it can do whatever it wants with us. But there's one caveat. Hobbes argued that the state has the right to do whatever it wants, but it should only do so in order to maintain order and stability in society. If the state becomes too oppressive, if it infringes on the rights of its citizens too much, then people will become discontented and the social contract will break down. And if that happens, then the state will lose its legitimacy and could even be overthrown. So while Hobbes did argue that the state literally owns us, he also recognized that it needs to keep us happy in order to stay in power. What do you think? Is Hobbes right? Does the state own us? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about political philosophy, please subscribe. Thanks for watching.